be here in the Kitchen Theater because of my personal connection to the kitchen. And as Rachel likes to say, important conversations happen in the kitchen, and we're here tonight to begin an important conversation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Bleiweiss, and I'm running for County Court Judge. When I say that, and I've been saying that a lot lately, people ask me why. To answer that question, I would like to share something that happened recently. It was one of those aha moments in my life. A few months ago, I was in court when Judge Sherman was hearing family court cases. As some of you know, one of the many things I do is represent children in family court. The judge asked me to represent a baby in a custody case. I noticed that the mom, I'll call her Ashley, but that's not her real name. Ashley was very young and pregnant with a second child. When we introduced ourselves, I realized that I had represented Ashley when she was 6 years old, and again when she was 13. I knew that this young woman had been in and out of foster care for most of her childhood. Now she was 19 with 2 children, no parenting partner, no job skills, and in a violent relationship. In that moment, I knew I had to do something to break the cycle of poverty. I decided then and there that, yes, it was time to throw my hat into the ring and run for county court judge. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. How can a judge help break the cycle of poverty? Here's how. Cases come before the county court judge in both criminal and family court proceedings. The first phase of these proceedings is fact-finding. What happened? Did the defendant commit the crime? Did the parent neglect the children? Did the adolescent engage in an act of juvenile delinquency? If it's determined that, yes, the defendant is guilty or the child has been neglected, the judge decides what to do next. In a criminal case that involves violence or repeated criminal activity, public safety clearly requires incarceration. But in other criminal cases and in family court cases, the judge has the opportunity to order services that could affect people's lives in a positive way. Today, the court does a good job ordering services that stabilize people. We provide, for example, substance abuse programs and subsidized housing, Medicaid, food stamps. But the safety net is not a platform for the future. We can do better. We need a judge who will order services that empower people to control their own lives. To move our community forward, we must focus on employment training so people have the means to support themselves and their families. We must focus on family planning so people can choose whether and when to expand their families. We must focus on developing mentoring programs so our youth can broaden their horizons and gain exposure to opportunities they never even knew existed. If people have better tools for their future, we will have less crime, more productive members of our community, and a better Tompkins County for all of us. This is a campaign of ideas. How can we lift the hearts and lives of people in our community? How can we take full advantage of the possibilities in every person, in every family? But while we don't want to squander human potential, we also cannot squander our community resources. Applying alternatives to incarceration or mentoring programs to someone who wouldn't benefit would be a waste of precious dollars. Giving dangerous criminals too lenient a sentence could jeopardize the safety of the community. How do you know the difference? There's no magic answer. There's only experience. Experience matters. I have the experience to be a fair and effective judge. I have over 22 years practicing law, including almost 2 decades of representing children and adults who appear before the county court judge right here in Tompkins County. I have advocated for children in child protective and juvenile delinquency proceedings, and I have supported parents as they work with social service agencies to rebuild their families. But my experience is not just in family court. I have represented hundreds of people in criminal proceedings on both felony and misdemeanor levels. As judge, I will be able to draw on all of my experience to make good decisions that ensure public safety in Tompkins County. I will be able to draw on all of my experience to make good decisions that balance the resources of the community with our hopes for the future. Experience matters, but it must be the right experience. I am prepared to be a fair and effective county court judge, not solely because I've been practicing law for 22 years, but also because I have been directly representing individuals. Through this experience, I have personally witnessed the problems faced by people of all ages in our community. And through this experience, I can bring a fair and independent voice to our courts. Independence matters. Independent and fair-minded judges are the cornerstone of our judicial system. It is essential to have a judge who listens to and challenges all participants in our system. A judge cannot be a rubber stamp for the recommendations of an agency. That approach is not only unfair, but tends to perpetuate the flaws in our system by allowing people to fall through the cracks. We can do better. We can elect a judge who keeps an eye out for these cracks, who stops and listens, challenges, and collaborates. The judge must be able to render decisions independently without allegiance to any person or government agency. I will bring a fresh, independent, problem-solving voice to the bench in Tompkins County. Good ideas matter. Experience matters, and independence matters. But the truth is, I am running for judge because of what I've seen. Remember I mentioned my client Ashley? Our community provided Ashley with social services for years, yet we never empowered her to break out of the cycle of poverty and abuse. Today, Ashley has 2 children destined for the same fate. I have seen these situations way too many times. We can do better. We can elect a judge who understands the challenges faced by our community and actively participates in seeking solutions. We can elect a judge who will break the cycle of violence and poverty through job training, family planning, and mentoring programs. We can elect a judge who has the experience to know when these programs will work and the common sense not to squander our precious community resources when these programs won't work. We can elect a judge who has the right experience to make the judgment call about when public safety requires incarceration. And we can elect a judge who has a fresh, independent view. My name is Pamela Bleiweiss. I am a lifelong Democrat committed to the values of compassion, equality, and social justice. I am running for county court judge, and I'm asking for your support.